It's a beautiful Friday morning here, 24 degrees in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Welcome to Sunrise Daily, your daily dose of sunshine. I'm Maupe Ogunyusuf.
Yes, indeed. Good morning and welcome. I'm Kayla Magwai. It's been a very busy, interesting week. In fact, since June the 12th, it's been a very interesting time in our country. Some highs, a lot of lows, and we're going to get to all of that in the course of our conversations today.
Indeed, Kayla. Well, we have kept the matter on the Benue killings that happened sometime on Friday last week, Friday into Saturday morning. We understand that that massacre took place. And during the week, we saw the president, speak up on the issue and say he was going to visit Benue. And on Wednesday, he was in Benue State. And that visit was quite remarkable in some ways. There have been reactions still pouring in, some of them positive, some of them negative. But we'll be looking at a host of the reactions that have come in, introspecting one in particular from the perspective of a particular guest. But just in case you missed that particular visit and some of the highlights of the visit, we'll be bringing you that particular report about now.
Presidential aircraft bearing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu touches down at the Tactical Air Command Airport in Makurdi. At exactly 1:05 p.m., a visit driven by grief, urgency, and a firm demand for justice in the wake of Yelwata killings. President Tinubu was received by the Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia, alongside a delegation of governors and senior officials. The president then proceeds to the Benue State University Teaching Hospital, where he visits victims of last Saturday's brutal attack on Yelwata.
Some of them took 4 units of blood, 6 units, and multiple units. So if you have started at 4 points, it means that we also have serious problems because you have to join the intestines at those points.
He offers words of sympathy and solidarity to the injured, many of whom are battling life-threatening wounds. Elsewhere in Makurdi, the new banquet hall of the Benue State Government House is packed to capacity. Dignitaries present include traditional rulers, led by the Tortiv, service chiefs, federal and state lawmakers, as well as APC national chairman and key cabinet ministers. President Tinubu enters the hall alongside Governor Hyacinth Alia as the high-level stakeholders meeting begins. Opening the conversation on the tragic killings in Benue State, the Tortiv delivers a solemn appeal to President Tinubu.
What we are dealing with in Benue is a calculated, well-planned, full-scale genocidal invasion and land-grabbing campaign by header terrorists and bandits, which has been on for decades and is worsening every year. Wrong diagnosis will always lead to wrong treatment. So we are dealing with something far more sinister than we think about. It's not learning to live with your neighbors. It is dealing with a war. We appeal to you to end the genocide going on in Benue State and the insecurity in all parts of Nigeria. We know you are capable of doing it, sir.
If not, we'd say this more than this.
Governor Alia then mounts the podium with an appeal to the federal government to establish state police and an intervention fund following the fresh wave of killings in the north central state.
While we continue to mourn our losses and rebuild from the ashes of pain, we humbly urge the federal government to consider establishing a special intervention fund for communities affected by these incessant attacks in Benue State. Such a fund would go a long way in supporting the rehabilitation of the displaced persons, building of destroyed infrastructure, and restoring the livelihoods of our farmers and families whose lives have been upended.
President, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Having listened attentively to the voices in the room, President Tinubu turned his focus to the nation's security chiefs and the Inspector General of Police, issuing firm directives, posing pointed questions, and demanding swift accountability.
I give you the assurance that we will find peace. We will convert this tragedy to prosperity. Again and again, police, I hope your men are on alert to listen to information. How come no arrest has been made? I expect there should be arrests of those criminals. Christopher, thank you very much. I watch your comments, and we need to keep our ears to the ground. Let's get to those criminals. Let's get them out.
As the dust settles in Makurdi, President Tinubu's visit leaves behind not just words, but weighty expectations for action, for justice, and for healing.
So we're getting right to some of the reactions that have trailed the president's visit to Benue. Some people felt that he did not have, the somberness which such a visit deserved. And one of those people is the presidential candidate of the SDP in the 2023 elections, Prince Adebayo Adewale. He wrote a post on his social media handle saying that the Benue town hall meeting with the president was grossly sickening. He says our entire governmental doctrine and leadership mentality in Nigeria needs a thorough revamp, and our people desperately need mental liberation. How could the emphasis be on the 2027 election and little on the sadistic massacre? The bulk of the speech is on the sacrifice official Abad had to make to promptly respond to the killing instead of critical questions about failure of leadership and breach of constitutional duty to secure the citizens. No observer would believe that the people of this great state have just suffered a dastardly and gruesome massacre merely a few days ago. Well, the criticism goes on, but he is right here in our studios today, and we want to examine that, that criticism and also other matters that are currently happening within our nation polity. This morning, we have in our studios Prince Adebayo Adewale. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Good morning, and God bless Nigeria.
Indeed, God bless Nigeria, and God bless the people of Benue State as well. This was a criticism that you had on your social media handle shortly after it was being widely reported by a lot of media houses. But some people will say that isn't this a little harsh, given the fact that some of the things that happened in the state, the president had little or no control over them.
Okay, thank you. My sympathy to the government and people of Benue State again, and the same thing with the almost forgotten people of Bokos and other places in Plateau State and many parts of the country where this massacre, killing, kidnapping, banditry go on and on. What is clear is that the president cannot say he did not know or has no control over the state. He is the governor general of every state in Nigeria. So he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And these things that are happening in many parts of the country, especially in Benue and Plateau, they are things which are supposed to be the daily features in his security reports that he receives. That's why he's commander-in-chief.
Oh, pardon me, let me clarify my question. When I meant control, I wasn't talking about the security. It does appear that your criticism bordered around the, what some have termed the fanfare that preceded the president's visit. That was what I was referring to.
Okay, what I see, it's a general pattern where the president politicizes everything. If he's going to commission a road, it's going to be, there's always this cartoonish aspect that has to do with singing and all of that. He goes to National Assembly in a country where people are suffering, and he's making some efforts, but those efforts have not yielded significant results yet. And people feel these things, and when he goes there, they sing these various anthems that they wax all the time. Now, they've now gone one step beyond reason by going to a place of mourning, place of massacre, where even during Nigeria's civil war, it would be newsworthy if there was 200 lives lost in at one time. And when he was giving awards on June 12 and all the struggle, there was no time during the resistance to the military that the military or anyone killed 200 people at a go. So such a place is a somber occasion. And he's in charge of all the people who followed him there. And what do you get there? It's like another political rally. And that somebody is not there. And some of the theater they were doing there with the chief of defense staff giving the president a salute, those are the things they should have done in the situation room, what they wanted to do. And the president, I think, should have gone there as a chief mourner. And it should have been, language should have been sober, and the responses should have been better controlled, and it should have made sure, come rain, come shine, come anything, that he got to the venue of the attack. He gets there and he sees the people. You cannot say as commander-in-chief that there's a part of the country that's unreachable by you. People are living there, and you left them there, and you are responsible for their welfare there. So I think, as a whole, the notion that by merely going to Benue, which is a place where his heart should be, as the commander-in-chief of armed forces, that merely going there is enough sacrifice. And some of the commentaries there, and his own reaction to it did not do anything to suggest to the people that my priorities are with those who have been killed. I know them by name, because as commander-in-chief, I will know all of these details before going there.
Well, which of the reactions now?
It's the general atmosphere, even the speech he made, the content of it.
Is it at the venue or the
in that hall, which looks like a banquet? The whole setting is not the setting you would find for mourning. Even the effort they put to it, the whole staging of it is not sympathetic enough, and is not appropriate enough. And that's our approach, that's our understanding of that, and does not portray to the president that he understands that using that visit is to address all these similar issues, because God forbid, and we pray it doesn't happen. If it happens elsewhere, is he going to carry the same theater to those places? So when you go on an occasion like that, you set the tone. You let people know that you understand the situation. You clearly identify and indicate some solutions to them, even if you don't give all of it. And the whole business looks like this is a place of mass death. And the head of the family is here. And that's if you play that tape again 100 times, you will not have that feeling at all.
All right.
It looks like any other event.
Let's talk about
commissioning
some of the
or
things
anything
that you feel should have been done.
Yes.
So let's start from because it's the way it looks, isn't it?
Yes.
Intentions really don't.
The optics.
The optics of
Yes.
it is what you're really looking at.
Yes.
All right. So let's start from when he landed in Benue. How do you think he should have handled? In what way would he have come off as sympathetic? Because the truth is, when people have died in this sort of situation, it's very difficult in many ways for you to actually meet the expectations of everyone, especially when people have died. So let's hear your thoughts on how he should have conducted himself from the airport to the event where he had the tortive and everyone speaking up.
The basic thing is that you should realize that those people died because of you. Because you are the commander-in-chief of armed forces. You are the one running the police, running the armed forces. If you had done your duty, the people working for you in uniform and out of uniform had done their duty, that thing would not have happened. So the first thing you do is to take responsibility And then you let your protocol people know that I'm going to this event. I'm going only with people who are relevant to security and the local people there.
Okay.
And as we are going, make sure that you have given me sufficient briefing about the families who were lost, their names. I am not the commander-in-chief yet, but I have the names, family by family. Which family lost, how many people. I have some names. And the president will have verified those. Make sure that in anything we are doing, select members of these families. Let us be like, as if I lost members of my family. I've been bereaved before. I know how I will conduct myself if I lost members of my own family. I will not go there with fanfare. I will interact with them. I will get information. How did it happen? You talk to the people. They will see you interacting with the victims and the survivors yourself. And then you indicate, and then the leaders who are there, they will let them know, President is not coming here as a politician. He's coming here as the head of the family. He's coming, this is the head of state function. Remember, I keep saying there are 3 functions in that office. You are head of state, you are chief executive, you are commander-in-chief.
So this hall should have had victims' families.
Victims' family mainly. And the rest of the fanfare should have been cut down. Indication will have been given to traditional ruler political people. Now, taking children, asking them to lie on the street and wait for some. This is not Independence Day. This is not Democracy Day. This is not you coming to give them roads or food or something. This is you coming to say, I am sorry, I failed you. The governor of the state will also take a cue from you and say, we failed you. These are steps we need to take. You are not behaving like a foreign dignitary who is coming to, even foreign dignitaries, even the Pope. If the Pope had come, he wouldn't come and conduct a mass and make it look like he's doing
one thing that people have pointed to in that particular town hall meeting was when he spoke to the Inspector General of Police and to the Chief of Defense Staff and to the intelligence agency heads. You know, and that statement he made to the Inspector General of Police is one that, I don't know if people got that, but I think a lot of people understood when he said no arrest has been made. That was very telling. And in many ways, some people have said, well, we didn't know that. We didn't know that there was no arrest made at all. You know, so isn't that something that points to some kind of level of demanding accountability from his security chiefs? And you could see on their faces when he was saying that they know a reprimand when they hear one. Reprimanding them like that, you don't think that was a good thing?
No, that's a failure of his own commander-in-chief position. It shows that the president may have other good qualities, but totally not a good commander-in-chief. Because before you go there, you will know whether arrests have been made. This commander-in-chief thing is not a joke. It's not the same thing as being chairman of a party or wearing a guada like I'm doing now. If I'm president, I know what is going on, how many vehicles pass a road. Unless it's not relevant to me, the information is there. The information apparatus, we are paying billions and trillions of naira for this kind of information. You will know who has not been arrested. You will have gotten pictures of the area where the people went to. If they went to a foreign country, within 24 hours, you will be in touch with the foreign country. You will know it's not there, that you will behave like a pedestrian and be asking, no arrest has been made. No, you will know if arrest has been made, if there has been investigation, if there has been any...
Well, I don't think he said it because he didn't know. I think in many ways, you know, saying it out there was, I think in many ways showing that you're not doing well as Inspector General of Police on this particular matter.
Thereby showing that he is not doing well himself as Commander-in-Chief, because normally, if there's any aspect, if, for example, if arrests have been made, security may not want to tell you that arrests have been made because they may affect their investigation. If you want to communicate to the people, you communicate that, 1, we are sorry, 2, we are on it. So if you need to let the people know that arrests have not been made, it's not there you'll be asking your Commander-in-Chief, your police head, is talking to you in public, you are the boss. Even if you say something that is not correct, yes, sir. If you tell a soldier anything, he'll give you a salute, yes, sir. Police, same thing. But if you want to communicate to the people, you have to ask them, either you communicate confidence to them that we are on it. That kind of question is appropriate for that. If you want to communicate that you need their cooperation, then you let them know, please give us more information. We know we are bereaved, but please come forward, give us more information.
The Chief of Defense Staff had an engagement in the FCT after the president's visit, and it was very poignant hearing him say something that I've heard a lot of security heads say over the years. He said, we are doing the kinetic bit of this job. But the non-kinetic bit of this security work takes up over 70%, he said. That's what he said yesterday. Take the non-kinetic aspect when we're trying to fight insecurity. The non-kinetic aspect takes up over 70% of the work that has to be done. That, in my mind, is the security to stand us. Look, the poverty levels, the part of it that doesn't, we can do the combating. But when it comes to the root causes of insecurity, those are non-kinetic, and the ball is being dropped in that area. What do you make of that assertion? It's not just about, at least it's not just about catching terrorists. If we have an issue, underlining issue, why isn't that being handled by those who should handle that?
You see, first, the protocol of politics is that an aspiring commander-in-chief, a politician, should not criticize people in uniform who are risking their lives. And so I wouldn't criticize the Chief of Defense Staff, but I will criticize the Commander-in-Chief who appointed him. The whole setting that they are giving there is not a sign of seriousness. Killing of people is kinetic, if we are going to use their language. Because they think that now that they are spending a lot of security budget, they should also be bringing security vocabulary to the public. The public wants to be safe. Kinetic, non-kinetic. The killing of people, the movement of logistics of people who can kill 200 people in a flash, going around, all of that is kinetic. There are many parts of the world, and there are parts of Nigeria, where poverty is endemic, but lives relatively safer. So it is not the poverty that is making you not to know ahead of time that there has been some surveilling of some communities, that large troops of people are coming there. There is an unusual activity of people being housed, being given petrol, other things that they use, being given other logistic support, food and everything, and they're massing around. And there is a lot of investment we've made in several coverage of Nigeria. And Benue is a regional center for our Air Force, so we can always do air surveillance and everything. And that you are not reading your estimates, and that any person who has any national network, he sees a lot of information. As I'm here now, I receive a lot of information, because if I tell an SDP person, help me go to one community and do this and that, he will tell you, oh, this road is not safe, oh, there's a problem there. So there's a lot of information coming. The non-kinetic side is also the president's problem, because if he's not commander-in-chief this hour, he's chief executive. He's supposed to provide. Long and short of it is that there's no excuse you can give. There's no word in the dictionary you can give to explain why and justify why, one, you would not know that these areas that are tense, some of the factors are known. If you ask me now, I can give the one that is not too sensitive to you, that there are 3 factors working there. There are 3 factors of infiltration of communities by marauding groups who either want to retain people's land, displace people on land, and all of that, who are going around. Some of them have reprisals that they want to do because of previous interaction unresolved. For example, the one in Bokos was related to an event that happened 2 years earlier, which the government said they were going to deal with. And those who were killed recently in Bokos, we have not satisfied them. So they too might be thinking, okay, we'll wait for the government another 1 year. If they don't, we too will retaliate. Second, we have communal issues. Because of the fluidity of these communities, you will see places, you will see that both the farmers and to a larger extent, a quicker extent, the herders like to move from place to place, where society is not static, where we farm here this season, we go further down to farm next season, or we carry animals around. Geography changes quickly, and people can be confused as to what method they can use to retain advantage over each other, and killings start. Thirdly, there is an element of politics there, where the political leadership, rather than collaborating together to help resolve the problem, are using this insecurity to score political points and say, okay, you say you are not going to govern with me, even though we plan the governing together or politics together. Okay, I'm going to make sure I don't give you federal assistance. So I want to make sure you fail.
That's why it's a little confusing when you criticize the traditional rulers, because you said the traditional rulers felt that they had to pledge their massive support for official Abat in the 2027 elections on this somber occasion is both pathetic and undignified.
Yes.
That's what you said. But, you know, I listened to the entirety of the
Yes.
speech of the tortive.
Yes.
And, you know, largely what I got out of it was, you know, finding a way to speak with courage to the commander-in-chief, but at the same time, presenting what you truly feel in a manner that he can accept it. He would listen to you and not shut down. He talked about four A's that he was going to be, you know, giving the president: appreciation, appeal, assurance, etc., etc. And he had the courage to say what the people of Benue had been saying for a time. And he talked about the sort of information that the president was getting from his security briefings. He thought that it was causing a misdiagnosis, which was what was informing the speech. That they keep getting every time such an attack occurs: communal, learn to live with your brothers, tolerance, etc., etc. He thinks that is not the situation, and he tells the president that this is a calculated, well-planned, full-scale genocidal invasion of their land. So I'm wondering, what exactly informed this criticism that you had for traditional rulers?
Okay, it was a lamentation of the state, the undignified state of traditional rulers. Not really about criticism of them in particular. You cannot be commander-in-chief. I cannot be commander-in-chief that I don't talk to the chief regularly. Because as commander-in-chief, whether there is a crisis or there is no crisis, you have a selection of traditional rulers you must talk to, religious leaders you must talk to regularly. You have dinner with them regularly. You have consultation with them regularly. Each of them, the first-class ones, should have an ability to call you directly as commander-in-chief, or call one or two people close to you if they can't reach you. This is the standard work of commander-in-chief, given the complexity of governance in Nigeria. And when this event occurred, between the president, the commander-in-chief, and the third chief, who is the head, who is the traditional head of all the people affected, and the governor, and the commissioner of police, and the DGDSS, there will have been a lot of interaction. Some of the things that the third chief is saying to the president in the open, they will have done the interaction. In fact, as president, I will have had a private session. We, the third chief, and the serious people, so that we can talk to ourselves frankly in camera before we now go out and assure the people. So the idea now is that the traditional rulers have been put in a place where the president is appearing to them like a foreign guest, and they are having to pour all they have to say in the short message in the public. So as a result of that, and they are not familiar with the president enough to see, because of that failure of leadership by the president, to have interaction with them and gain their comfort. Now they are now thinking, like, okay, how do I communicate with this person? It's a politician. So even though I'm communicating what affects my people to him, somehow I know he has an ego problem, so I need to kind of also play to his politics, which is now taking the traditional ruler outside their comfort zone. Because a traditional ruler is a father, and is able to speak the truth to you without having the need to assuage your feelings and give you sugarcoating. And I see it repeatedly wherever traditional rulers are being brought, either to launch, commission a road, or to play any interaction with government. There is this element where they end their story by saying, we are going to vote for you, we are going to, which is totally a taboo. And that is more painful on occasion like this, where lives have been lost, and the traditional ruler should have been the chief host and the president and the chief mourner, and the president will have come there to mourn with them and then have time. Traditional rulers have a lot of information, and they have code of conduct and ethics of what they can say, what they cannot say. So my advice to Mr. President, I hope there is no other visit to massacre and all of that, but try to be in touch with traditional rulers. They have a lot of information they may not give to the governor of the state because of local politics, which they will give to you. From time to time, pay unannounced private visits to them. Let them come and see you privately. Let them have access to you. Some of this idea will have been given to the president before he made his own speech, before the third chief had to react to say, sir, with due respect, let me correct what you are saying. The third chief or...
The president will always speak last. I'm sure he was reacting.
No, the president spoke earlier before going to the event. You know, when the thing occurred, the president, I think, was commissioning some FCT project. And when he was announcing that he was going to change his schedule and go to Benue instead of Kaduna, he made some comments. Indeed, regarding that subject, which shows that he had not listened to the people affected before making that comment. And that comment did not go down with the authority, and he courageously went to correct the president. At the same time, because of that obligatory pressure that they give to traditional rulers to always now add a bit of politics to kind of switching the truth for the politicians. And that aspect is what I criticize. Not that the traditional rulers themselves are the people who are the object of the criticism, that they had to feel like that, that they had to be put in such a situation. The way the president has organized the interaction was what led to that bit.
Let me quickly take you up on the issue of what he said, the 40, which is, you know, really, it really stands out for me when he talks about a calculated, well-planned, full-scale genocidal invasion. And you have listened. You listened to the president. The commissioner is here in Abuja. You also, I'm sure, you saw the speech given by his special advisor on public affairs, Mr. Bayo Nanuga, in the wake of what happened in Yelwata. And there's been serious pushback by the people of Benue. Now that they've had the courage to come out to say that this is what they believe is happening in their state, that they believe this is an attempt to wipe them out and take over their lands. What do you think the president, commander-in-chief, should be doing to people who feel that they're facing an existential threat? If really that is not the situation, how do you think they can actually change the narrative?
It is difficult to say that subjectively that's not the situation, because that is the evidence that they have. That's the feeling. And it's not only in Benue. If you go to Plateau, you will see it. If you go to a bit of anywhere in what we call the Middle Belt, you will see it in many parts. And if you go to Zamfara and other places in the upper Savannah, you will feel the same way. I think that the president should not be receiving this information as if they are new pieces of information. If you look at the pattern of troop movement, pattern of violence, if you put them on a map, and you will see that there are certain territories where these activities take place. The feeling in Plateau is even worse, because I've gone to communities in Plateau where crises like this happen, and I interact with them, and they give you evidence that they have. They mention them. If you go to Borno, they will tell you, look at how what the so-called Boko Haram is being reorganized, reassembled. Look at how this particular person from this community who had stopped this activity has now gone back to be doing the activity. They will give you a lot of information. President needs to know that this commander-in-chief is a very hard job. You have to give away some other things. You have to give some of your politics to other political operatives to do for you. Spend 6 months and put together a proper plan. One, to gain a foothold in your territory, so that when these unsafe areas, relatively unsafe areas, wake up in the morning, they see the law. They see that the closest person to them is law enforcement. And that if they have any concern, they don't need to run away or agitate. They will immediately reach law enforcement. If the law enforcement below is on the ground is not behaving well, they have access to brigade commanders, police commissioners, directorate of DSS and all of that. And that if the people who are professional fail, they can talk to their leaders, like the traditional rulers, like the religious leaders, like the government, and they can reach to the commander-in-chief in Abuja. If you put that in place, and every community knows what number to call, that feeling is going to go down. Secondly, you have to have a change. As you have a change of command, you must also have a change of responsibility. If something happens in a particular geography, somebody's head has to be chopped off among those who are responsible. Because a chain of command that's why they salute you when you arrive. That's why you give them instruction. That's why you give them resources. There must also be a chain of responsibility. If you are in charge of a particular zone and there are sectors under it and you put people there, like this year water now, who is going to face court martial? Who is going to face orderly rule? Who is going to face investigation? Where is the investigation panel set up? Where is the judicial inquiry set up? These are tools for obtaining accountability. So when people feel like whether it's supported by evidence or not, or just sentiment, or just a general commonsensical analysis of patterns, there will be an inquiry where they will go there. That inquiry would deal with it. There will be an inquiry at the federal level. There will be an inquiry at the state level. There will be other NGOs like the Catholic Church and other people that you will allow them to do their own investigation and assist them so that you can collapse all of this information together and have a white paper that will speak to the people, because you need to give accountability. And you would, in the inquest, for the killing of each person, because under the law, each of those people killed, Nigeria owes them an accountability of how they lost their life. So if any of their children, grandchildren come up 100 years from now, they will say, my family were affected by a massacre in Yelwata. My grandfather was killed. This is what the government said about it. This is the compensation we were paid for it. This is the measure taken. And it's because of this that these laws and measures have been taken. But if you just do this political theater and then keep quiet, and God forbid, you wait for another thing to happen in another location, and then we start debating, should the president go there or not go there, and then we start all over again, because people are forgetting Bokos. They are forgetting that in Sokoto State, the Seriki of Gobi was killed, was captured with his son and was killed, and up till now, there is neither Sokoto State nor the federal government has explained. And you know better than I do as a journalist, you can go back to the beginning of President Tinubu's presidency, you can go back to Buhari's presidency, you can go back to Goodluck Jonathan's presidency from Chibok gets up to now. No resolution. If you are an expert in defense, in security services, in the history generally, in civics, you cannot say, this killing here is the conclusion. This killing here is the conclusion. And that is why it becomes a pattern. It looks like if there's pressure against the president, so much pressure, it may feel like, okay, it is politically
motivated.
Yeah, let me just go do a little bit of theater, and that's the last of it. And that should not be the case, and that is what the commander-in-chief should do to assure the people, and they won't feel like they're about to be killed or genocided in their own country.
Well, Prince Adewale Adebayo, we wish we had a little more time. We had a lot of things we wanted to discuss with you, but we believe that we will invite you back again, because we have to talk about the polity in general, the state of defections, the state of opposition, political parties, etc., etc. But we have to thank you for coming in this morning and sharing your thoughts on the killings.
Thank you, and God bless Nigeria, and God comfort all the affected people.
Amen. Well, he is a lawyer and also a former presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party. We'll take a break at this point. We'll be back shortly to look at another matter affecting us all in just a moment. Please stay with us. Well, we're looking at the state of energy, particularly the supply of premium motor spirit, which is something that we need. A lot of people still use in their cars, despite the federal government's campaign for CNG. That's something that is another matter. Kayla, do you have a CNG in your car now?
No, I do not.
You do not?
I still have issues putting a canister in my car. I'm not there yet, but we hear it's safe. We hear it's safe, but I'm just not there
and we
yet.
have people who use them. I mean, I don't use it yet, but I do know people who use it and who say it's far cheaper. But that's not what this conversation is about. This next conversation, as I did say, is about premium motor spirit. For those who buy the dailies, they would have noticed that in the last couple of days, it's been a struggle to see what the headlines of the papers have been because of the adverts on if it's not been taken up by the FCT, it's been taken up by Dangote, which has announced that it is buying 4,000 new trucks powered by CNG, and it's to aid the distribution of, well, I say, products, yes, because it's not just petrol that he said, it's not just PMS that Dangote refinery is going to be selling. It also has a number of other products which it intends to distribute across the country. And they're wondering what is going to happen to other distributors as a result of this. Well, people have been looking at Ipman with some sort of eye and wondering, Ipman, are you sure you're comfortable with this? Well, Ipman is right here, is represented in our studios this morning, and we have Mr. Ukadike Chinedu, who's the National Publicity Secretary of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association. Ipman, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
So let me ask you that question. Are you comfortable, when you see those adverts, are you wondering, okay, this is supposed to be a good thing, but we know that sometimes what might be good for others might not exactly be favorable to some others. So is this favorable for you?
Very, very, very favorable.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, sure.
4,000 CNG powered trucks.
Yes.
Is favorable to Ipman?
Very, very, very
How?
favorable.
Explain to us.
You know, we welcome Ipman was born out of competition. You know, when you talk about competition, we are born out of, we're a side of circumstances of competition. The proponents of Ipman decided to checkmate the major oil and gas industry who came into Nigeria. We're exploring, refining, and also selling. Shell, BP, Petrol, Mobil, as at that time. This distribution was in the hands of the OICs. And at a point, we said, no, we have to cut short of this distribution. And you see them located in the strategic areas of the town. No filling station inside the town. So the federal government, in this way, started to ensure that it enact Ipman as an indigenous marketing company to be able to also face this competition. So we are child of circumstances. We are born out of the competition, and whatever way the business ethics, forms, we also follow it up. We are here. We're on ground.
The CNG has an advantage. A lot of the trucks that we know are used in the distribution are powered by diesel. We know diesel is
definitely, yes.
long time deregulated. It's still an expensive product for trucks to use. CNG is said to be better. It's said to be cleaner, etc., safer. I know that's some people are so finding it difficult to come to terms with safety of CNG, but it's said to be cleaner. We know that. It's said to be cheaper. I think that for people who are looking at profit, that profitability side of it is very key. So I'm wondering, how do you intend to get around that, given that a lot of the trucks that Ipman still uses are diesel-powered trucks?
Yes, that is where we're also pressing up. Some of our members have also converted their trucks to CNG trucks.
Oh, they have?
Yes. Well, I thought we are gearing. You look at the filling stations of Ipman members now. Some of us have 100 pumps, 50, but unlike before, we have 1 or 2 pumps. But because of the development and also the deregulation process, we're also rebranding our filling stations. Some of our filling stations is a state-of-art filling stations now. It's even more better than those of the OICs and...
There's a bit of a CNG scarcity right now, isn't there?
Yes, there is. I will come to that.
Okay.
I will come to that. And also, if you look at the Dangote statement, it's a strong policy statement. If you read down that statement, you will find out that it has also foresee a lot of problems in the oil and gas industry, and also have decided to tackle it. It is something that we welcome with a lot of cheers, because it's going to bring fuel cheaper at your doorpost. Our pipelines have gone for years. Nobody's talking about the pipelines. Wired all over the country from all the whole 21 depots. Products are not being moved. We are suffering the brunt of bringing these products from the seasides of the country, where these DAPMAN members have their tank farms, and that is where we'll move our products from. And some of us take 500 and something kilometers to take products from Apapa to maybe Medugri. And it's in our cost. When the truck fails, it's in our cost.
Okay.
When there's spillage, it's in the independent marketers' cost. Nobody is bullfighting all these things. But if you look at Dangote statements, you see that a heavy load has been heaved out of independent marketers. This is what the pipeline is supposed to be doing. Is trying to use the CNG trucks to bring this product to our door.
So you people welcome it?
So we welcomed it.
So where did
and it's going to benefit me and you.
Where did the misconception come from? Because people heard, what we heard online and what we heard people talking about was the fact that Ipman was upset that these trucks were going to be working and that it was going to affect that agreement he signed with him in 2024 where there was going to be direct lifting from Dangote. From Dangote. So where did the misconception come from?
No, there's no misconception. You know, when Dangote made his statement, he said, I'm a refiner. I don't have business in marketing. I want Ipman members, other stakeholders to come and pick products. That this product is in my tank. Over 500,000 liters of petroleum product stocked in his tank. And he's a businessman. If I have over 500,000 liters of petroleum product stocked in my tank, and many people are having difficulties coming to take it, I must also recreate and initiate a way to be able to evacuate it and take it to those people that is finding it so difficult to get.
So just to be clear, because we are running out of time,
why you always bringing me when you are running? This is a strong national.
Time is never enough.
So don't worry, we'll just quickly speak to this because you talked about CNG scarcity, which is an issue you raised.
Of course.
You said they're going to talk about it.
Dangote has also said about it in his statement, because when Mr. President introduced this CNG, he wanted to use it to be able to cushion the effect of the dependent of petroleum products. You understand me? So he brought in this CNG and brought in a presidential committee. He has also looked at it that this presidential committee is not working as fast as possible to be able to alleviate the sufferings of those who will pick up this CNG. Most of our filling stations, independent marketers, we have built pumps for CNG. You know, then Dangote is now bringing CNG trucks to be able to distribute the CNG product into our filling station so that easily you can pick from our filling station. As I'm also talking to you now, it's also stabilizing price. I don't know where the monopoly comes from.
That's another conversation, and just as we wrap up, if you can, the Ipman has been speaking up about the cost of petrol. They say with local production, the price should be below 825 naira. And then there's also that talk from Ipman about the fears about monopoly from
No, there's no fear about monopoly. When you talk about monopoly,
speak to those two things.
Yes, definitely.
Should the cost be lower than
let me speak quickly.
Yes.
As I'm talking to you right now, Dangote is still selling fuel at 825 naira to independent marketers. While other major marketers and DAPMAN members are selling at 910 naira. So where is the monopoly? Where is the monopoly? You don't call a dog about them to kill it.
We are you are in full cooperation with the Dangote refinery.
We are in full cooperation, and I'm also trying to have a meeting with Dangote maybe by next week to be able to fine-tune this strategic initiative. The man is a true Nigerian.
Well, we certainly will keep tabs with you. We have to thank you so much for coming on this beautiful Friday morning. Ukadike Chinedu is a National Publicity Secretary of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, IPMAN. Thank you once more.
Thank you. Please bring me next time when there is time.
Well, we'll do something about that. Thank you so much for watching our viewers who have been with us all of this time. Thank you for being with us this beautiful Friday morning. I'm Maokwe Ogunyese.
Have a great weekend ahead. I'm Kayla Magwa.